Have you ever held something so small in your hand? A simple penny, a nickel, a coin that looks ordinary to the world? But in reality, it carries a secret value so enormous, it could change your life overnight. These are not just coins. They are treasures, relics of American history, forged in war, struck in error, or minted with a mystery that only the sharpest eyes can detect. Imagine walking into an auction room holding one of these tiny pieces of copper or silver and watching the crowd go silent as bidding climbs higher, higher to six figures. That's the power of the coins I'm about to reveal to you today. On this channel, U.S. Coins Worth Secrets, we don't deal in myths. We deal in truth, in fresh discoveries and treasures hiding right in front of us. And today, you're about to uncover 8 ultra-rare, most valuable wheat pennies, steel pennies, war nickels, and buffalo nickels currently shaking the auction market in the United States. By the end of this video, you will see why collectors are calling them treasures, not coins, and why their prices are climbing like never before. So stay with me, because every second you watch, the story gets bigger, the mystery gets deeper, and the value gets higher. Let's begin with one coin that looks innocent, but inside it hides a fortune. The story of the 1955 D Wheat Penny begins in the Denver Mint, during a time when America was bustling with growth and change. The Wheat Penny series itself is iconic, minted from 1909 to 1958, and cherished for its bold design featuring Abraham Lincoln on one side and 2 symbolic wheat stalks on the reverse, a tribute to America's hardworking farmers. But what makes this particular 1955 D in extra fine condition so electrifying is not just its age, but its unbelievable scarcity in such pristine form. Think about it. Millions of pennies were minted in 1955, but most were used, abused, tossed in jars, scratched, and lost to time. Finding one in extra fine condition is like finding a flawless diamond in a pile of gravel. The sharpness of Lincoln's coat, the clarity of the wheat ears, and the crisp edges tell a story of survival. This coin somehow escaped the wear and tear of circulation, protected across decades, preserved like a secret waiting to be discovered. But here's where the suspense deepens. Collectors know that the Denver Mint of the 1950s produced massive numbers of coins. Yet in this ocean of copper, the true gems, those near-perfect survivors, are vanishingly rare. And it's that razor-thin line between ordinary and extraordinary that transforms a simple 1-cent piece into a treasure chest worth more than gold. Today, this 1955 D Wheat Penny in extra fine condition commands a jaw-dropping price in the auction market. We are not talking hundreds, not even thousands. The current value sits at a staggering $103,000. And yes, I'm telling you the truth. This is not fiction. This is the real market right now. Imagine a single penny becoming a 6-figure treasure. That's like holding history, rarity, and fortune, all fused into the palm of your hand. This is the kind of find that can make a collector rich overnight, the kind of coin that auctioneers whisper about and bidders fight over. What makes the value even more exciting is that it is not slowing down. The demand is exploding. Each year, more collectors wake up to the reality that these coins are drying up in the market. And when supply shrinks while passion grows, there's only one direction for the price to go: up. This 1955 D is not just a coin, it's a rocket in motion. And if you have one, you're holding a big money treasure in your pocket. Wait for time, and its value will rise even further. This is history written in copper, and history never loses demand. For collectors, the tip here is simple but powerful. Condition is king. Always look for sharp edges, defined details in Lincoln's hair and coat, and minimal scratches on the surface. Coins with brilliance and detail command auction floors, while average examples are left behind. If you can secure one of these, an extra fine or higher, you are not just collecting, you are investing in a fortune that grows silently but powerfully. And the conclusion? This 1955 D Wheat Penny is not just rare, not just valuable, it is a living legend of American coinage. It proves that the smallest objects can carry the biggest secrets, and those secrets can transform into treasures that echo through history. That's why this channel, U.S. Coins Worth Secrets, is here every single day, bringing you fresh updates, faithful truths, and treasures that others overlook. And if this is just the beginning with coin number 1, you can already feel how powerful the journey is going to be. Because the next coins on our list are even more shocking. The year is 1943. The world is at war. Factories across America are roaring. Soldiers are marching, and every ounce of copper is desperately needed for the war effort. Ammunition, shell casings, and critical equipment depended on it. And so, in that year, the United States Mint made a drastic decision. They would no longer strike pennies in copper. Instead, they turned to steel, coating each coin with a thin layer of zinc, creating what we now call the 1943 steel penny. But here's where the mystery begins and where a treasure worth a small fortune enters our story. While the nation expected only steel pennies, a few planchets of copper, leftover blanks from the previous year, somehow slipped into the minting presses. No one knows whether it was a simple accident, a rushed oversight during wartime chaos, or perhaps even an intentional act by a mint worker who understood the enormity of what was about to be created. Whatever the reason, those few copper pennies struck in 1943 became legends, and today, they are among the holy grails of American coin collecting. Now, the coin we're talking about here is the 1943 no-mint mark wheat penny struck in Philadelphia. Most collectors are familiar with the steel versions of this penny. They are common. You can still find them at coin shows, even tucked away in jars in your grandparents' attic. But the copper 1943 no-mint mark is different. It's breathtakingly rare. It's one of those coins that can silence an entire auction hall. Let's pause for a moment to imagine the history embedded in this one coin. A year defined by global conflict, a coin that defied its own era, a survivor that should not exist. This is more than copper. It's a piece of resistance against time itself. In extra fine condition, the 1943 no-mint mark has details that collectors dream about. Lincoln's portrait remains strong and defined, his hair and coat line sharp, the wheat ears on the reverse, crisp and proud. This level of preservation, considering how coins were handled in the 1940s, is nearly miraculous. Most pennies were tossed around in pockets, rattled in cash registers, and worn down through endless use. To find one of these ultra-rare copper strikes still gleaming with extra fine detail is to uncover a national treasure. And here's where the suspense reaches its peak. Because when these coins surface in today's auction market, they don't just sell, they ignite bidding wars. Collectors fight for them. Investors chase them. And the crowd watches as the numbers climb higher and higher. The current market value of the 1943 no-mint mark wheat penny in extra fine condition stands at a staggering $112,000. Let that sink in. We're talking about a single cent. A coin most people would dismiss as pocket change, now commanding a six-figure price that could transform your life in an instant. And believe me, this is no exaggeration. This is no fantasy. This is the absolute truth of the market today. These coins are treasures that continue to grow in value year after year. The demand is unstoppable. Collectors know their rarity. Investors know their power. And as more people discover the story of the 1943 copper penny, the competition to own one intensifies. Prices are climbing, and those who hold them now are sitting on a fortune that grows more precious with time. This is a treasure in the truest sense of the word, a rare artifact of war survival and chance. For collectors watching this video, the tip is simple. When it comes to the 1943 pennies, learn to spot the difference. Steel coins will stick to a magnet, but a genuine copper 1943 will not. Be wary of fakes, but also be vigilant, because you never know when one might appear in the most unexpected place. And when you find one, condition will determine its destiny. Extra fine examples like this don't just hold value, they create legends. And so, in conclusion, the 1943 no-mint mark wheat penny stands as one of the most breathtaking treasures in American numismatics. It is a living witness to a time of sacrifice and survival, a reminder that even in the darkest days of war, chance could create something extraordinary. It's not just a coin, it's a fortune, a story, and a symbol of history's unpredictability. And here on U.S. Coins Worth Secrets, we bring you these truths faithfully day after day, uncovering treasures, sharing fresh updates, and reminding you that sometimes the smallest coin carries the biggest story. And if you thought this was shocking, stay with me, because the next coins we reveal will take this journey even further into the realm of unbelievable riches. The year is still 1943, a time when the entire nation was focused on one thing: victory in World War II. Factories were working day and night. Families were rationing, and the United States Mint was under pressure like never before. Every ounce of copper was being redirected to the war effort. Bullets, shell casings, and communication wires all needed copper to keep soldiers supplied on the front lines. And that is exactly why, in 1943, the penny was struck not in copper but in steel, coated with a thin layer of zinc. But hidden inside this monumental year, inside the massive output of steel pennies, a few extraordinary accidents occurred. And one of them emerged from the Denver Mint. This coin, the 1943 D Wheat penny struck in copper instead of steel, is so rare, so treasured, that it has become one of the greatest legends in all of American coin collecting. Now let's pause and think about how extraordinary this is. The Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of coins in 1943. Every single one of them was supposed to be steel. And yet, through a twist of fate, a few copper blanks, leftovers from 1942, slipped into the presses. Instead of being discarded, they were struck with the familiar Lincoln design and released into circulation. To the casual eye, it was just another penny. But in reality, it was a miracle, an error that transformed into a treasure chest. The 1943 D Wheat penny is instantly recognizable to the trained eye. The small D mint mark below the date marks its origin in Denver. And when struck on copper, it becomes something beyond imagination. This isn't just numismatics, this is destiny. In extra fine condition, the coin we are talking about today is nothing short of breathtaking. Imagine a coin struck in the chaos of wartime America, surviving decades without the scratches, dents, and wear that destroy so many others. Lincoln's profile remains sharp, his features proud and defined. On the reverse, the twin wheat stalks, a tribute to America's agricultural backbone, are crisp and untouched, standing as bold as they did the day this treasure rolled off the Denver presses. And here is where the story takes a powerful turn. Because this coin doesn't just carry history, it carries fortune. When one of these 1943 D copper pennies comes to the auction block, the room changes. Collectors know what is at stake. Investors know what is at stake. Every hand raised in the bidding war isn't just buying a coin, it's chasing a piece of the American dream. The current market value of the 1943 D Wheat penny in extra fine condition is $122,000. Yes, you heard that right. 1 cent worth well over $100,000 today. And I'm telling you the absolute truth. This is the real market value right now. This is not a rumor. This is not fiction. It is a living, breathing reality in the auction houses of America. This is the kind of coin that doesn't just reward you, it transforms you. Holding one is like holding a fortune in your hand. It is no less than a treasure chest that fits in your pocket. And what makes it even more electrifying is that its value is climbing. As more collectors hunt for these copper 1943 coins, the supply only gets smaller. And when rarity meets demand, the result is always the same: skyrocketing prices. Wait for time, and this treasure will only grow in value. For collectors, the tip here is priceless. Never overlook your pennies. If you come across a 1943 D, the first thing you must do is test it. Steel pennies will stick to a magnet, copper will not. And if you have one that passes this test, you could be holding a treasure worth more than some people's life savings. But remember, condition is everything. Extra fine or higher, that's when you step into the world of six-figure auctions. So what is the conclusion here? The 1943 D Wheat penny is not just a coin. It is proof that accidents can become miracles, that tiny slips in history can create treasures beyond imagination. It carries the story of America at war, of a mint under pressure, and of a few copper planchets that slipped through the cracks to become legends. This is why U.S. Coins Worth Secrets is here for you every single day to share the faithful truth, to bring you fresh updates, and to reveal the treasures that could be hiding in plain sight. And if this third coin on our list already sends chills down your spine, stay tuned, because the next coins will only push the boundaries of rarity, mystery, and unimaginable value even further. The Buffalo Nickel, one of the most iconic designs in American coinage. When you hold one in your hand, you're not just holding a coin, you're holding a vision of America's past. Bold, rugged, untamed, just like the frontier it represents. Designed by James Earl Fraser and first struck in 1913, this nickel pays tribute to both the Native American heritage and the powerful bison that once roamed the Great Plains in countless numbers. Now imagine this, the year's 1936. The Great Depression is still gripping the nation. Families are struggling, work is scarce, and every nickel counts. At the Denver Mint, coins are being struck as fast as possible to keep commerce moving. And among those strikes is a piece that would survive the decades, outlasting hardship, war, and time itself: the 1936 D Buffalo nickel. This particular nickel is not just old, it carries a beauty that collectors describe as an antique glow. In very fine condition, it has that perfect balance enough age to show its history, but still crisp enough to display its details proudly. Look closely and you will see the strength of the Native American profile on the obverse. The cheekbones, the feather, the stern expression, still clear, still bold. On the reverse, the mighty buffalo stands strong, a symbol of resilience, with details on the hump, horns, and legs that show why this design captured America's heart. But what sets the 1936 D apart is not just its age or design, it's its rarity. Millions of buffalo nickels were struck, yes, but very few survived in higher grades. Most were worn down in pocket change, nicked, scratched, and eventually discarded or melted. But to find one in very fine condition with that Denver D Mint mark, that is like finding an unspoiled relic from America's rugged past. It is no longer just a coin, it is a living artifact. Collectors crave this nickel for what it represents. It's not just money, it's history you can touch. It's America during the Depression era, captured in metal and preserved against all odds. And when one like this appears in today's market, the reaction is always the same: silence, then awe, then a bidding frenzy. And here's the part that will make you stop and think. The current market value of the 1936 D Buffalo nickel in very fine condition is $125,000. Yes, you heard that right. One nickel, a simple 5-cent piece, now valued at a 6-figure treasure. This is no myth, no fiction. I'm giving you the truth of today's auction market. The numbers are real, the prices are current, and the treasure is undeniable. Think about that transformation. A coin worth 5 cents in 1936, now worth enough to change lives in 2025. That is the kind of fortune that doesn't just happen. It's the kind of fortune that makes collectors' hearts race and investors open their wallets wider than ever. And it doesn't stop here. The value of coins like this continues to climb. Demand grows each year and supply shrinks as these rare survivors are locked away in collections, rarely to be seen again. Wait for time and the price only goes in one direction, up. For collectors watching this video, the tip is this: when hunting buffalo nickels, pay close attention to the date and mint mark. The D for Denver is crucial. Study the wear carefully. In very fine condition, the details of the Native American and buffalo must still be clear, even if lightly worn. Coins with sharp legends and defined features are the ones that ignite the market. And always remember, authenticity matters. These coins are so valuable that fakes exist, so know what to look for and trust certified sources. So, what is the conclusion here? The 1936 D Buffalo nickel is not merely a coin. It is a treasure chest wrapped in nickel, a piece of history that survived hardship and time to shine brighter than ever before. It proves that America's past still lives with us, not in museums, not just in books, but in your very pocket if you're lucky enough to find one. And that's why U.S. Coins Worth Secrets is here, faithful and true, bringing you daily updates, fresh discoveries, and stories of treasures that the world too often overlooks. And if you thought a nickel could never be worth more than a fortune, this 1936 D proves otherwise. And trust me, the coins we still have ahead will only push the limits of rarity, value, and shock even further. The Buffalo nickel, rugged, powerful, and undeniably American. Every single one of these coins carries with it a story of a young nation defining its identity, a nation proud of its heritage and unafraid of bold design. The year is 1925, the Roaring Twenties. Jazz fills the air, cities boom with industry, and yet in pockets across the country, the coins that change hands every day speak quietly of tradition, strength, and survival. And from that vibrant decade comes one of the greatest treasures of the Buffalo Nickel series, the 1925 no-mint marked Buffalo Nickel, struck in Philadelphia. At first glance, it may look like a regular 5-cent piece. But once you study it closely, once you understand what it represents and how rare it is in very fine condition, you realize that this coin is anything but ordinary. The design itself is legendary. On the obverse, a powerful Native American profile, modeled from 3 different chiefs, each detail carved with pride and strength: the braids, the feather, the rugged features that embody the spirit of America. On the reverse, the mighty buffalo stands tall, a tribute to the great herds that once thundered across the plains. This coin was never just money, it was art, history, and identity minted in metal. But here's what makes the 1925 no-mint mark buffalo nickel truly extraordinary. Philadelphia struck millions of these coins, but the vast majority of them have not survived in decent condition. Circulation in the 1920s was brutal. Nickels were tossed in change, scraped in cash registers, and passed through countless hands in the bustling economy of the Jazz Age. Most examples today are worn smooth, with their features barely visible. To find one in very fine condition with sharp legends, clear detail in the Native American's face, and strength still visible in the buffalo's form is like stumbling upon a hidden relic in a forgotten vault. This is what collectors live for: the survival of beauty against the odds of history. The fact that a coin struck a full century ago can still look this stunning is nothing short of miraculous. And when one surfaces at an auction today, the room changes. People lean forward, the energy rises, and bidders know they are not just looking at a nickel. They are looking at a fortune. And that fortune is very real, because the current market value of the 1925 no-mint marked buffalo nickel in very fine condition is $125,500. That's right, over $125,000 for a coin that originally carried a face value of just 5 cents. Think about that for a moment. This isn't fiction. This isn't a story made up to entertain. This is the reality of today's coin market, a truth that shakes collectors to their core and proves why these coins are treasures, not tokens. And here's the most exciting part. The value isn't slowing down. Each year as demand grows and supply shrinks, prices climb higher and higher. The number of surviving examples in this condition is minuscule, and every time one is locked into a private collection, it vanishes from the open market for decades. What's left for collectors to chase becomes even rarer, even more valuable. Wait for time and you will see this treasure climb in value like a mountain reaching into the clouds. For collectors watching this video, here's the tip. Pay attention to condition. On a 1925 buffalo nickel, look for strong details in the braid of the Native American and the horn of the buffalo. These are the first features to wear down in circulation, and their presence marks the difference between an ordinary coin and a breathtaking treasure. Always examine authenticity and grading carefully, because this is the kind of coin so valuable that counterfeiters will try to imitate it. But when you hold the real thing in your hand, the weight, the detail, the beauty, you will know you're holding a piece of American history worth a fortune. And the conclusion is simple yet powerful. The 1925 no-mint marked buffalo nickel is not just a coin. It's a century-old masterpiece. It's proof that history does not fade. It survives, it thrives, and it grows in value with each passing year. This nickel is more than money. It's a treasure chest, a time capsule, and a symbol of how something so small can carry a legacy so vast. This is why U.S. Coins Worth Secrets exist to faithfully bring you fresh truths, daily updates, and discoveries that prove treasure still hides in plain sight. And if a simple nickel from 1925 can command 6 figures today, just wait until you see the next coins we uncover. The journey only gets more shocking from here. The year is 1945. The world is holding its breath. The Second World War is nearing its end. Across Europe and the Pacific, soldiers are fighting their final battles, while families back home are sacrificing everything to support the war effort. In these years, even the smallest pieces of metal mattered, and that includes the humble nickel. During the war, the United States government made a critical decision: conserve nickel metal, which was urgently needed for weapons, tanks, and aircraft. To keep coinage in circulation without draining essential wartime supplies, the mint changed the composition of the 5-cent piece. From 1942 to 1945, what we now call the war nickels were struck made not from pure nickel, but from a mix of copper, silver, and manganese. This bold change gave these coins a unique look, a slightly different weight, and for collectors today, an unmistakable historical significance. Now, the one we are talking about today is the 1945 P-War nickel, struck in Philadelphia. And it is no ordinary coin. It carries what collectors describe as a goldish glow, a patina that time has gently brushed across its surface. This golden tone is not artificial. It's the natural result of the unique wartime composition aging gracefully over 8 decades. It's beautiful, it's haunting, and it makes the coin stand out instantly in any collection. On the obverse, Jefferson's profile remains bold, his features sharp, his gaze steady, a reminder of leadership in one of America's darkest times. On the reverse, Monticello stands proud, with the famous large mint mark P above the dome, the very first time the Philadelphia Mint had ever used a mint mark on a U.S. coin. That detail alone marks this piece as a turning point in numismatic history. But rarity is what makes the 1945 P-War nickel, in very fine condition, such an electrifying treasure. You see, these coins were meant to be spent, not saved. They passed through countless hands during a time when every cent mattered. Most were worn smooth in circulation, scratched, damaged, or melted down for their silver content after the war. But to find one today, in very fine condition, with its details sharp and its golden patina intact, is nothing short of miraculous. And here's where the suspense reaches its peak. When a coin like this appears at auction, collectors know exactly what is at stake. It's not just another war nickel. It's a survivor, a relic of victory, a coin that lived through a world-changing event and carries that history in its very metal. And when the bidding begins, the numbers climb higher and higher and higher until they reach a staggering reality. The current market value of the 1945 P-War nickel in very fine condition is $115,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. A 5-cent piece struck in the final year of World War II is now worth over $100,000. This is not fiction. This is not a rumor. This is the truth of today's coin market, where history, rarity, and survival collide to create treasures worth fortunes. And here's what makes it even more powerful. The value is climbing. Every year, more collectors realize just how scarce these high-grade survivors are. Every year, demand rises while supply shrinks. Wait for time, and this coin's price will only soar higher. This is a treasure that does not sleep. It grows stronger as history becomes more distant. For collectors, here's the tip. Always look for that large mint mark above Monticello. On the 1945 P, it's bold and unmistakable. The P tells you immediately this is a wartime silver issue. Check the surfaces carefully, and a golden or silver gray patina is often a sign of authenticity. And in very fine condition, the lettering in Monticello's dome must remain crisp. These details separate true treasures from common examples. So what is the conclusion here? The 1945 P-War nickel is not just a coin. It's a symbol of victory. It's a piece of America's greatest struggle and triumph. It carries the weight of history, the rarity of survival, and the power of fortune, all in a 5-cent piece that most people would overlook. It is a treasure chest disguised as pocket change, a reminder that even in times of war, beauty and value can be created. And that's exactly why U.S. Coins Worth Secrets is here for you every day, to bring faithful truths, fresh updates, and to reveal treasures hiding in plain sight. Because if a war nickel can be worth $115,000 today, just imagine what the next rare coins on our list are going to reveal. Trust me, the surprises ahead are even more shocking. The year is 1943, and a year of uncertainty, of sacrifice, of courage. America was deep in the heart of World War II, and every factory, every worker, every resource was directed toward victory. Even the smallest things, even the 5-cent coin in your pocket, were transformed by the demands of war. This is where the story of the 1943 P-War nickel begins. Struck in Philadelphia, it was no ordinary coin. Its composition was changed from the traditional nickel to a mix of copper, silver, and manganese, a blend designed to save precious nickel metal for the war effort. That decision alone makes these coins historic. They are not just money, they are war relics. They are artifacts of a nation that sacrificed everything, down to its coins, for freedom. But not all of these nickels survived the decades. Many were spent, worn smooth, melted for their silver, or lost forever. And that's what makes this particular example, the 1943 P-War nickel, in fine condition such a treasure. Look at it closely and you will see why collectors fall in love with it instantly. The obverse features Jefferson's proud profile, still strong even in fine condition, a symbol of leadership during uncertain times. The reverse displays Monticello, and above the dome, the bold letter P mint mark, the first time in history that the Philadelphia Mint had ever placed its initial on a U.S. Coin. That single letter tells the story of wartime change, of innovation born out of necessity. And this specific coin carries something even more captivating, a black shade patina that has developed naturally over decades. This dark, elegant tone gives the nickel a mysterious beauty, as if time itself left its fingerprint on the coin. Collectors prize these patinas because they are unique. No two coins age the same way. The black shade enhances the design, highlighting Jefferson's face and Monticello's structure with dramatic contrast. It's not just a coin, it's a work of art shaped by history. Now let us talk rarity. The 1943 P was struck in large numbers, but finding one in fine condition with this kind of stunning patina is an entirely different story. Most survivors are either heavily worn or unattractive. But when a coin like this appears with detail still clear, with surfaces that glow with natural aging, collectors know they're looking at a prize. And when it reaches the auction market, the energy is electric. Bidders know the value, they know the history, and they know the demand. The numbers climb, the tension builds, until finally, the hammer drops at a number that shocks those who thought a nickel could never be worth this much. Because today, the current market value of the 1943 P-War nickel in fine condition, with its beautiful black shade look, stands at $110,000. That's right. One nickel, worth over $100,000 in today's market. And let me be absolutely clear, this is not fiction. This is not exaggeration. This is the truth, the real price these treasures are commanding right now in the world of serious collectors. Think about that. A coin that began as a symbol of sacrifice during the war, now transformed into a symbol of fortune. And the story doesn't end here, because this value is not fixed. It's growing. Every year, as more collectors enter the market, and as more of these coins vanish into private collections, the price inches higher. Wait for time, and this treasure will only climb in value. That is the undeniable power of rarity combined with history. For collectors watching this video, here's your tip. Always check for the large mint mark above Monticello. On the 1943 P, it should be clear and bold. Watch for patina as well. Those with unique tones like this breathtaking black shade often bring even higher demand at auction. And remember, authenticity matters. The value is so high that counterfeiters will try to trick the market. But once you hold the real thing, you will feel it. The weight of silver, the design, the history. There is no mistaking a true war nickel. So let's conclude with this. The 1943 P-War nickel is not just a 5-cent piece. It is a black-shaded beauty, a survivor of war, a symbol of resilience, and above all, a fortune disguised as pocket change. It represents the truth that history does not fade, it grows in meaning and in value with every passing year. And that's why U.S. Coinsworth Secrets is here, to share these faithful truths, to bring you fresh discoveries every day, and to remind you that the smallest coin can carry the biggest treasure. If this 1943 P has shocked you with its six-figure value, just wait, because the final coin on our list will take rarity and value to an even higher level. The year is 1944. The world is still at war, but hope is rising. American soldiers are pushing forward in Europe and across the Pacific. Victory is on the horizon, but sacrifices remain heavy, both on the battlefield and at home. Even the coins in circulation tell the story of sacrifice, survival, and determination. This is the story of the 1944 D-War nickel struck at the Denver Mint. At first glance, it may seem like a simple 5-cent piece. But when you look deeper, when you understand its history, its rarity, and its beauty in fine condition, you realize you are looking at something far greater than money. You are looking at a national treasure. Like all war nickels, the 1944 D was struck with a unique composition. 56% copper, 35% silver, and 9% manganese. This was no ordinary change, it was a decision made to conserve nickel metal for the war effort. These coins with their high silver content shimmer differently from any other nickels ever minted. And with time, their surfaces often developed a look collectors describe as beautifully old, a patina that tells you instantly this coin has lived through history. Look at it closely in fine condition, and you will see Jefferson's profile, still sharp despite the decades. His hair, his features, his steady gaze remain visible, carrying the dignity of an American leader. On the reverse, Monticello stands strong, and above its dome sits the bold D mint mark, marking its origin in Denver. That oversized mint mark was the government's way of signaling to the public that these coins were different, that they carried silver, that they carried history. Now let us talk rarity. While millions of war nickels were struck, very few survived in this kind of condition. Most were spent into oblivion, worn down in daily use during the war years. Others were melted down after the war for their silver content. To find a 1944 D today in fine condition with its details clear and its old-world glow intact is like discovering a relic in a time capsule. It is not just scarce, it is extraordinary. And when this coin appears at auction, the impact is immediate. Collectors lean forward, knowing what they are seeing. The room becomes charged with anticipation. The bidding begins and numbers climb not by small steps, but by leaps. Because this isn't just a nickel. This is a survivor of America's most defining moment, a tangible piece of victory, and a treasure that cannot be replaced. And here's the reality. The current market value of the 1944 D-War nickel in fine condition is $111,500. Yes, over $111,000 for a 5-cent piece. This is no myth. This is no story made up to spark excitement. This is the truth of today's coin market, where history and rarity fuse to create life-changing fortunes. Think about what that means. A coin struck for everyday use, a coin designed to help preserve resources during war, now worth enough to be considered a treasure chest in itself. And its value is not slowing down. As time passes, as more examples vanish into collections and out of circulation, the price will rise even higher. Wait for time, and this coin will shine brighter still. For collectors watching this, here's the tip. Always look for the oversized mint mark above Monticello. On the 1944 D, it's unmistakable. The surfaces should carry that natural age look, and in fine condition, Jefferson's features and Monticello's details should remain visible. This balance between age and preservation is what collectors crave. And when you find one, hold on to it, because you're not just holding a coin, you're holding history, rarity, and fortune all at once. So let's conclude this incredible journey. The 1944 D-War nickel is not just another piece of money. It is a story, a symbol, a treasure. It represents America's resilience, its sacrifice, and its victory. And today, it represents wealth, rarity, and a value that grows stronger every year. And there you have it. 8 coins that prove small change can become a fortune, that history can transform into treasure, and that the secrets of American coinage are more powerful than most people can imagine. From wheat pennies to war nickels, from copper errors to silver survivors, these coins are not just collectibles, they are treasures that can make you rich overnight. This is why U.S. Coins Worth Secrets is here for you. Faithful, truthful, fresh every single day. Because treasures like these don't just belong to the past. They are still out there waiting to be discovered, waiting to be revealed, waiting for you to find them. So if you felt the excitement today, if you want to uncover more secrets tomorrow, make sure you subscribe, like, and turn on notifications. Because the next video could reveal the very coin that changes your life forever. Stay tuned, the journey of treasure is only beginning.